Inside the Magic, show number 480 for June 15th, 2014.
Hi, I'm Rob Paulson. I'm Raphael.
Cam Clark. Leonardo.
Barry Gordon.
Donatello. Townsend Coleman. Michelangelo.
And this is Inside the Magic Turtle Power!
This is indeed Inside the Magic, and it is show 480 of Inside the Magic for June 15th. I am your host, Ricky Briganti, and that was indeed the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle voices, which I had the privilege of speaking with just a few days ago, which I was thrilled about because I'm a huge Ninja Turtle fan. So more from them a little bit later in the show as to why they're even on the show. Well, you'll find out. Of course, in addition to that, we have lots of other fun Disney and theme park news and plenty more. Before we get to all of it, I invite you to visit our website at InsideTheMagic.net. There you'll find all of our podcasts, videos, photos, news, articles, and a whole lot more. And if you ever have any news, tips, questions, comments, or anything else that you want to send in, you can always do so by writing to me at Ricky@InsideTheMagic.net, or you can call and leave a message at 407-494-4ITM. That's 4486. And now, let's get on with the show. This week's episode of Inside the Magic is brought to you by Magical Travel. Book your summer Disney cruise with Magical Travel and receive a shipboard credit to use while you're on your vacation. You're going to want to book now for the best availability and pricing by calling Magical Travel today at 866-207-8387 or visit them online at magicaltravel.com to receive a free price quote. And when you do that, be sure to mention Inside the Magic to receive your free Disney gift card for qualifying bookings when you book your Disney vacation with Magical Travel. And thanks very much to all contributors to Inside the Magic, whether you're making a donation or clicking through any of the affiliate links over on the website. It all supports this show. So thanks a lot. And now, let's get started with a trip around the world. Let's jump right into this week's news, starting with California this week at Disneyland, where now playing just ahead of Mickey's Soundsational Parade daily at Disneyland is a Frozen pre-parade. Apparently, it's only taking place in the earlier showing of the parade for some reason. It's not ahead of all of them, so don't make that mistake and expect to see the Frozen characters in the parade later on in the day. But if you don't want to wait for the hours and hours and hours it takes to meet Anna and Elsa in Fantasyland in the park, you can now see them on their new float, an icy float, ahead of Mickey's Soundsational Parade. They're accompanied by an animated Olaf, who actually says a few things as the float goes by. There's also an instrumental version of Let It Go playing in the background, and it's certainly a welcome addition to that park because we've had Anna and Elsa in our parade since the Festival of Fantasy debuted a few weeks ago. Now Disneyland can say the same thing for theirs. So here is what the Frozen pre-parade sounds like, bringing Anna, Elsa, and Olaf through Disneyland. There you go, just a little sampling of that. It goes on and on with the instrumental version of Let It Go, with people, of course, naturally singing along and whatnot. So you can see that now before the first performance of Mickey's Soundsational Parade at Disneyland. You can see video of that over on our YouTube channel. Now, we know that Marvel's next film is Guardians of the Galaxy, coming out this summer. Well, it was announced this week that both at Disneyland and Walt Disney World, there's going to be an extended sneak peek in 3D coming beginning July 4th. Now, at Disneyland, things get a little interesting because this sneak peek of Guardians of the Galaxy is going to temporarily replace Captain EO in the Magic Eye Theater in Tomorrowland. It's going to feature special effects going along with it, but Disneyland does emphasize that Captain EO is expected to return later on once Guardians moves out. Whether or not they're telling the truth there or if this is just a convenient way to get rid of Captain EO from the park is unclear, but they claim that Captain EO will be coming back. Walt Disney World's version of the Guardians of the Galaxy preview will be playing in the ABC Sound Studio at Disney's Hollywood Studios, likely without those special effects. Seems like Disneyland always gets the cooler version of these extended sneak peeks. Of course, Guardians of the Galaxy will be hitting movie theaters on August 1st. Keeping with the Disneyland news here, there's been a lot of refurbishments going on out there, and Disneyland has announced that Alice in Wonderland, the dark ride in Fantasyland, will also be reopening on July 4th, and they have confirmed that, as they put it, some work has been happening on the inside. There's been a lot of talk of some major upgrades to the Alice in Wonderland attraction, though no one's exactly clear as to what that means, so we'll find out in just a couple of weeks. In addition, the Finding Nemo submarine voyage is now slated to reopen on September 27th. Now let's jump back out here to Walt Disney World. Star Wars Weekends wrapped up this weekend, but if you'll recall, recently, the most exciting of all of the Star Wars weekends was when Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, was out here offering some very entertaining conversations with host James Arnold Taylor. Now, I had played for you here on the show his conversation between the Joker, who he has voiced for many years, and, of course, Luke Skywalker. Well, that video has just absolutely swept across the internet. It is something like over 700,000 views of that little clip that I shot of Mark Hamill. And, in fact, it spread so far, so quickly, that just 2 days after that happened on the Friday of Star Wars Weekends. Well, just 2 days later on Sunday, during the final conversation with Mark Hamill in Disney's Hollywood Studios, Mark even actually mentioned that particular YouTube video, my video, during that presentation. So here, I'm going to play a little audio clip. This is courtesy of Rob Bearden over at Mickey Updates. He was there to record that presentation. It's pretty amusing to hear what Mark Hamill has to say.
Well, something went up on YouTube, and I got a very frosty letter from Warner Brothers reminding me that A, I no longer play the character, and B, we're going to see you 6 ways from Sunday. It was basically a really nicely worded cease and desist letter, and it was mostly because I did a whole Come on, but we had fun when you did it. It was great, but
So there you go. Hopefully he wasn't entirely telling the truth there. I would hate to hear that Mark Hamill got in trouble as a result of me putting something up on YouTube, but I'm sure he got a little note from Warner Brothers saying, hey, you don't voice the Joker anymore. Quit doing that. Of course, Mark Hamill does not voice the Joker anymore, although he did for many, many years. His last role as the Joker was, I believe, for the Arkham City video game. Prior to that, he had done other video games as well as a few animated series of Batman for many, many years. He's been the Joker longer than he was Luke Skywalker. Of course, now he's going to be Luke Skywalker once again, coming up in Episode 7 that everyone's looking forward to. If you have not watched the video of that now infamous conversation between the Joker and Mark Hamill, definitely head over to our YouTube channel to check it out. It is quite entertaining. Moving on from there, here's some other news from Disney's Hollywood Studios. It seems the American Idol Experience's days are numbered. Just a few days ago, I heard that cast members of that attraction were called in to a meeting to let them know that in about 6 months, that show will be closing for good. No replacement is named. I'm not even sure a specific closing date has been named, although I've heard early January is likely when that's going to happen, which is about 6 months from now. So if you're a big fan of American Idol Experience, well, you're probably one of like 4 people, but that aside, you'll want to go rush out and see it ASAP because it is going away. But here's something that has made a surprise return over at Epcot. The old Odyssey restaurant is open, but not for the long haul. It opened in honor of the World Cup. It's including some special food and drinks and merchandise and the ability to watch the World Cup games there inside Epcot. It's going to be open for about a month, and who knows what it'll be used for after that. But if you were ever a fan of that piece of old Epcot history, you can head in there now. Now, of course, My Magic Plus and Fast Pass Plus are a big part of a daily trip at Walt Disney World now, where there's some additional changes coming up that could be quite a fun and useful addition to the whole system. A test is about to take place at select hotels at Walt Disney World. It's going to be Contemporary, Bay Lake Tower, Port Orleans, Pop Century, and Animal Kingdom Lodge. And this test is going to basically eliminate the need for checking in when you get to the hotel. Of course, right now, if you book a Walt Disney World vacation package, you get your Magic Band sent to you in advance if you're staying at one of the Walt Disney World hotels. Now, since you already have your Magic Band, which is your room key, there really is no need to check in so much. So now they are testing the ability for people to just get the Magic Bands in advance, show up to the hotel, already know what room they're going to be in, and just go straight to that room instead of doing anything at the front desk. That sounds like a great way to start a trip, but it is just a test. It's going to be happening between June 16th and June 28th, and after that, I guess Walt Disney World will determine if it was successful, and then, if so, roll it out to everywhere else. Speaking of hotels, a new one has opened at Walt Disney World. It's called the B Resort Orlando. That's right, the letter B, Resort Orlando. It's a Walt Disney World Good Neighbor Hotel in the downtown Disney area, formerly the Royal Plaza Hotel. You might be familiar with that one. Well, that one is no longer. It is now the B Resort Orlando, and it's kind of in a soft opening phase because everything isn't quite done yet, but guests are staying there already. The official grand opening will follow later this summer. I had a chance to walk around, see the rooms, sample a little bit of food, and kind of get an idea of what this whole hotel will be like when it is done. It's a very modern, sort of minimalist, contemporary look to it. Very clean lines, a lot of white everywhere, and touches of blue, which is kind of their signature color. Speaking of touches, in the lobby there are large touch screens, pretty handy, where you can not only access airplane information, print out your boarding tickets. You can even have your information texted or emailed to you if you want to save the environment a little bit and not print anything. You can access maps on there and get an idea of what's around you and how to get there. Pretty handy. There are 9 different types of rooms at B Resort Orlando, from pretty standard ones all the way up to a massive master suite. It has both a 17-story tower as well as a connecting smaller lanai building, and in that lanai building are the hotel's most unique offerings, which are 20 family-friendly rooms with bunk beds, and they're located poolside, so you can open up, have your own little private seating right there by the pool, and access directly to the pool, which is pretty nice. If you are up in the tower, however, you get great views of the surrounding area, particularly overlooking downtown Disney, soon to be Disney Springs. In fact, while I was at the sort of opening event for B Resort Hotel, one of the officials there specifically said March is when downtown Disney is going to be renamed to Disney Springs. I think that's the first time I've heard an actual time frame nailed down to a month, so take that for what you will. The Wi-Fi there is pretty fast, got about 5 megabits down, which was not bad at all for being free Wi-Fi. There's a zero entry pool that still needs a little bit of work. They are working on it. Some areas that are not open quite yet but will be very soon are the Be Indulged Spa. They'll have 4 treatment rooms, couples therapies, hair salon, nail boutique, relaxation lounge, locker rooms, fitness center. There's also a restaurant coming soon there called American Q, which is a barbecue restaurant developed specifically for this hotel. I had a little bit of the sampling of some food from the chefs who were creating this restaurant, and the food was absolutely phenomenal, so I cannot wait to go back and try American Q when that opens soon as well. But for the most part, other than the spa and the restaurant and a little bit of work left to do on the pool, the B Resort Orlando is now open and certainly available for booking. Now let's hop over to Universal Orlando, where a lot of exciting things are certainly going on over there, leading into this week's big unveiling of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Diagon Alley. Just a couple of days from now is when the big media preview event is going to take place. Still no grand opening date announced yet, although this week a date did pop up on the Universal Orlando website briefly before it was taken down. It said June 30th, but Universal quickly came back and said, no, that's not correct. Whatever you saw wasn't correct. So we don't know what to believe at this point. But stepping back a little bit, it's worth mentioning that Universal Orlando is now offering free Wi-Fi at both of its theme parks as well as throughout City Walk, in conjunction with its new mobile app that does a lot of the same things that My Disney Experience does, as far as GPS tracking around, so you can see where you are in the park, and offering you real-time wait times when you're in the park and all of that. So pretty handy there. Of course, free Wi-Fi is a good thing in the parks. Now, as far as Diagon Alley goes, we got a little bit more of a peek as to what's going on in there this week, as the construction walls came down around the London waterfront embankment area. You couldn't walk through there yet. Certainly couldn't walk into Diagon Alley, which is completely hidden behind these London facades. But the London area looks great, highly detailed, and I can't wait to step behind it and see everything that's going on back there. Now, something else that has popped up throughout the original Wizarding World, the Hogsmeade Village, are these little medallions on the ground that have instructions on how to wave a wand and cast a spell. And this is pretty much confirmation of the long-rumored interactive wands that should be going into both Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley. Now, Universal hasn't officially announced or confirmed these yet, but these little medallions on the ground pretty much do that, because they're all placed right in front of animated items in windows. They're basically retrofitting anything that was animated in the windows of Hogsmeade now seems like it's going to be triggered by these high-tech interactive wands that will be for sale soon. So I'm sure we'll find out more about that pretty soon as Universal unveils Diagon Alley. Of course, stick with Inside the Magic throughout this week. The big press event is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On Tuesday, it's going to be the unveiling of 2 new restaurants at City Walk. On Wednesday, there's going to be a special presentation from Universal Orlando, followed by a red carpet event at night for Diagon Alley specifically. And then all day Thursday will be a big media day at Diagon Alley, as well as the official grand opening of the rest of Cabana Bay Beach Resort. So lots to look forward to throughout this week from Universal Orlando. Definitely follow us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and check the website throughout it all to see all of the exciting happenings. But Universal Orlando and Universal Studios Hollywood are already looking ahead to Halloween, which is fine by me. Of course, we're talking about Halloween Horror Nights 2014, and the first property for both coasts has been announced. It's not going to come as a big surprise to anybody. Yes, The Walking Dead is returning to Halloween Horror Nights for a 3rd year in a row. Kind of an unprecedented thing there. The first for a single property. Immediately, Universal Orlando kind of went on the defensive. Creative director Mike Aiello had a video online he was kind of justifying the return of The Walking Dead, because many fans jumped on them like, oh, really? Again? Why? And, well, it's not necessarily the creative people's decision. It's not necessarily the design people's decision. It's more of the marketing people and the ones who count the money. The Walking Dead is huge, no doubt. It's the biggest thing in horror right now. It's huge. It draws people into the park, and that brings in money, and that lets them do other cool things. And they are doing what sound like some pretty cool things for The Walking Dead this time around. It's not out here at Universal Studios Florida. It's not going to take over the whole park like it did last year, thankfully. Instead, they're actually building the largest maze or haunted house they have ever built. It's going to be twice as big as any other that they've ever built. It's going to be a soundstage maze, taking an entire soundstage. It'll feature a cell block, the prison cell block, a crashed helicopter in the convenience store, the ripping through the ceiling, a dilapidated country club, terminus, and many other recognizable areas from season 4. They're going to have twice the size of the cast that they've ever had in a haunted house, so it should be a pretty large, impressive way to deliver The Walking Dead to everybody. I mean, really, this is what they probably should have done from the beginning. Really give it in the grand Hollywood fashion. Well, speaking of Hollywood, now at Universal Studios Hollywood, there's going to be a maze as well, featuring the prison. There's going to be a scare zone that'll be set throughout the park, it seems, and the Terror Tram will once again be taken over by The Walking Dead. So it almost sounds very similar in Hollywood, whereas the Florida version is very, very different. Just to re-emphasize, though, at Universal Orlando, there will be 7 other haunted houses, multiple scare zones, none of which are The Walking Dead, and so not just one theme in the streets this year. So lots of other things to look forward to besides The Walking Dead, though I kind of, as much as I got incredibly tired of The Walking Dead at Horror Nights last year, I'm quite looking forward to seeing what they do with a biggest ever haunted house. Halloween Horror Nights starts September 19th. And kind of uniting those last two stories, Diagon Alley and Halloween Horror Nights, it was revealed this week that Diagon Alley will not be open during Halloween Horror Nights. It is going to be open during all the normal daytime hours, but as soon as Horror Nights takes over, that area of the park is going to be closed. Now, it's not clear if that was a mandate from J.K. Rowling or if it was just sort of the knowledge that if Diagon Alley was open during Horror Nights, that everybody would go there and ignore the haunted houses, perhaps, or maybe a little of both. That much isn't clear, but regardless, you will not be able to get a ticket to Horror Nights and go to Diagon Alley, just to be very, very clear there. And while I'm talking Halloween here, this is a good time to mention, and I did this online a few days ago as well, worth sort of re-explaining the difference between this, Inside the Magic, and the new part of the website that I call Outside the Magic. I am still, just to sort of, a lot of people were asking me this week as Halloween Horror Nights announcements started coming out. I am still going to cover Halloween Horror Nights and Hallowscream and theme park Halloween events on Inside the Magic. No real change there, but what I am going to do is be a little bit more careful of what is posted and how it's posted. Try to take things that are particularly sensitive, that stretch beyond being family friendly, really graphic imagery and things like that. That type of thing I'm now going to pull away and put over on Outside the Magic in an effort to keep Inside the Magic as family friendly as possible. I can still offer a general event overview here, but Outside the Magic will be the place to sort of really get deep into all of that. So for those of you who are Halloween fans and want to see all of that, you can see it there, and those of you who are not, you can just pretend that doesn't exist. And I may even spin off, and probably will spin off, and do some extra Outside the Magic podcasts as well to go really in depth on that. So those of you who keep writing to me every year and say, no, too much Halloween, I don't want any more of that, well, this is the solution. You're not going to hear it that much here. It'll be over there for those who do want to hear it. So there we go. Now let's jump back out to California, to Knott's Berry Farm, where a lot of excitement was taking place this week as they reopened two of their classic experiences. The Calico Mine Train Ride had originally opened back in 1960, and recently it got a major revitalization. They recently upgraded and enhanced the Timber Mountain Log Ride. It was so successful they decided to do the same thing even more so with the Calico Mine Train Ride, with the help of Garner Holt Productions, offering new special effects and audio animatronics. I can't wait to go see this for myself, but we do already have a video and some pictures from it over on our website and our YouTube channel, and it just looks phenomenal. This looks like a classic Disney experience at this point, with just audio animatronics everywhere. We haven't seen something like this from Disney, actually, in quite a while. It looks really great. There are some tributes in there to the ride's original creator, Bud Hurlbut, and it's got a great sort of ending explosion that's almost like the new explosion ending of Big Thunder Mountain, which is kind of interesting. In addition, Camp Snoopy, which opened originally about 30 years ago, has also reopened with some enhancements, has been refurbished. There's 3 new rides in there: Pigpen's Mud Buggies, Charlie Brown's Kite Flyer, and the Linus Launcher. And really, I feel like Knott's Berry Farm, which is just down the street from Disneyland, is really picking up steam. It's gone through a lot of changes over the years. I never really became sort of aware of the park until within the last few years. I mean, I knew it existed, but I didn't really start paying attention to it in the last few years, and I think that's true with a lot of people, because they are really sort of turning it around and noticing what fans want out of this park, and capturing a lot of the Disney audience by offering what amounts to almost a classic Disney experience, now that Disney seems to be moving in sort of a different direction with attractions. Knott's is almost stepping in and saying, hey, we're going to build the Disney rides from yesteryear today. It's interesting. So certainly worth following there, and I'll actually have a little bit more from Knott's Berry Farm a little later in this week's show. Now let's turn away from the theme parks over to movies and television. It's been 20 years since The Lion King came out, and now Disney has announced it's returning, but as a new TV movie and series called The Lion Guard. Disney is describing The Lion Guard as the story begins in the heart of the African savannah as Kian, the second-born cub of Simba and Nala, assembles a team of his close friends to preserve the Pride Lands. The show will also include special appearances by Mufasa, Timon, Pumbaa, Rafiki, Zazu, and Kian's older sister Kiara, the future queen of the Pride Lands. The show will focus on conservation education, the importance of family and community, while also highlighting creative problem solving and skills and diversity. The TV movie is going to come out fall of 2015, so a little ways away, and then the TV series will be in 2016 on Disney Junior and Disney Channel. And Walt Disney World's actually going to work on this show. Cast members from Disney's Animal Kingdom are going to consult, offering some sort of real-life conservation and educational information to be worked into the show. Sounds kind of interesting. Now in the world of comics, very exciting week as the first Figment comic has hit store shelves from Disney Kingdoms and Marvel. It is the second title in the Disney Kingdoms line, following Seekers of the Weird, and in my opinion, Figment even better than Seekers of the Weird. I read through the first issue, and when it ended, I was like, no, I want more. It's actually really, really well written, really well drawn. If you are a fan of Dreamfinder and Figment and Journey into Imagination, you have to go find... I actually have a digital copy of this because I haven't been able to find a physical one yet because they're sold out everywhere. I'm sure comic stores will get more in and they'll sell out quickly because it is actually a really enjoyable read. The young inventor that we know as Dreamfinder in the comic is called Blarian Mercurial, and of course he accidentally invents or creates Figment with one little spark twist, and from there it's just a page turner, and it's great. Seriously, if you are a fan of Figment at Epcot, you need to go find a copy of this or get the digital download from Marvel. It is just they've done a great job. Not only the folks from Marvel who've been working on it, but also Imagineers have had their hand in creating this, and it's obvious it has that Disney feel to it. It's just it's a wonderful comic that I really look forward to reading the rest. It's only going to be a 5-issue run. There's all kinds of variants for each one with Imagineer artwork, and it's just something that every Disney fan should definitely pick up. And to wrap up this Around the World segment, let me throw in a little bit of housekeeping here. First of all, we surpassed 150 million views on our YouTube channel, so thank you to all of you who have been watching our videos. Many more to come. Certainly Harry Potter this week, but much, much more in the future. So thanks very much for all of that. And here's something pretty fun that I have finally, after 9+ years of doing Inside the Magic, I finally own InsideTheMagic.com. Yes. It just forwards to InsideTheMagic.net for now. I think I'm just going to stick with InsideTheMagic.net because I've been saying it for so long, but for the many, many, many people who have accidentally gone to the .com version, finally the opportunity fell into my lap to snatch up that domain. So no longer giving ad dollars to somebody else, whoever previously owned that. I can finally say, yes, you may visit InsideTheMagic.com, but .net is preferred. So... that'll do it for your news from around the world this week.
It's a tip for today.
This week's tip comes in from Amanda, who writes, I went to Walt Disney World last year and thought I was going to have trouble finding food to eat that was gluten-free. I'm allergic to wheat, so I usually always have to pack a lunch everywhere I go. When I got there, I was shocked that Disney had gluten-free food and that I could find it at almost every restaurant. Every time that you order a gluten-free item, you meet with a head chef. It was so nice, and honestly, the best place to get gluten-free food. Amanda, thanks very much for that. Not exactly a tip per se, but definitely sort of a word of advice for anyone out there with any sort of dietary restrictions, whether it's gluten-free or anything else for that matter. Walt Disney World is a wonderful place, Disney in general, you get to talk to chefs, you get to have anything accommodated for you because they want to make sure that you have a wonderful trip, a wonderful vacation, and that you don't consume anything that you shouldn't be. So very easy to do. You can set your worries aside whenever you're coming on vacation here because they will take care of it all for you. Everybody else out there, please email your tips into tips@InsideTheMagic.net. This week out in California was the big E3 conference, the annual event of all things video games, new and exciting. Certainly lots of announcements throughout the world of video games. Focusing in on Disney, there was definitely some exciting things to see. I was not there personally, but Jeremiah Dawes was there covering it for Inside the Magic. If you head over to our website and check our YouTube channel, you can see some coverage, including some interviews with Disney Interactive folks and some gameplay from, of course, Disney Infinity 2.0 naturally, which is what I'm going to talk about here. The information that he sent over was that Disney Infinity 2.0, very, very fun. Apparently, involving the Marvel characters was a brilliant idea for Disney Interactive because flying around as Iron Man, Thor, and Nova, who's a recently announced character that's going to come in the also recently announced Spider-Man playset, very fun flying around the world of Infinity, as you might imagine. In addition to the web-slinging action of Spider-Man, controlling Spider-Man, zipping around the city, very easy to do, very intuitive, not like some Spider-Man games that have been in the past where you kind of run into buildings all the time. This seems to be a way of doing it that's a little bit sort of guided. It helps you along, but still gives you the control and the freedom and really makes it work in the way that, slinging a Spidey should. There's also an Avengers playset that features a city that's 4 times as big as the Incredibles world, which was the biggest area, the biggest playset of the original Disney Infinity, so lots to explore there. Other characters that have been revealed include Venom, which is kind of the evil version of Spider-Man in a way, also able to web sling around. Disney Interactive has also revealed some new power discs, some new types of power discs that will be able to be used in Disney Infinity 2.0, including being able to call in some special characters like the Winter Soldier, for example, or Iron Patriot, and you can't play as these characters, but they'll kind of hop in and help you out while you have that power disc active. You can also use other power discs to change the costumes of characters. Of course, superheroes, naturally, different costumes, so it makes sense. Something new in Disney Infinity 2.0 that Jeremiah found to be a bit much for him as a sort of a casual gamer, but those who are really into wanting to upgrade your characters and found it to be a bit lacking in the original Disney Infinity, that you kind of just leveled up and that was it. Now there's something called skill trees that Disney has added to Disney Infinity 2.0, in which you'll be able to sort of customize what areas that you want to upgrade for your characters as you level up. So not any 2 players' characters will be exactly alike as you level up, and also there's going to be twice as many levels to level up with, so more opportunities to add more and more skills to your superheroes. Now, I've mentioned before when this was all sort of announced a few weeks ago, that toy box mode has gotten an overhaul in Disney Infinity 2.0 as well, and Jeremiah had a little bit of time to get up close with the new toy box mode and see the new Creativitoys, which are the ability to sort of make interactive elements and almost like mini games within toy box much easier to use this time around. There's a lot of sort of pre-made game sort of things you can plop down in the toy box, and it's already a certain type of game that you can then fully customize and really make your own interactive area. There's also something called auto builders, that if you don't want to fully flesh out an entire toy box on your own, you can say, create a forest, and it will put a ton of trees around, or make a whole bunch of castles, and it'll build them for you. And of course, you can customize all of that as well, so it's to your liking. What I think I'm really excited about is this new ability to build indoor rooms, and more importantly, we'd heard about the indoor rooms before, but this was something new from E3. You can actually link your toy boxes together via these magical sort of almost portal doors, and basically the size of the building that you create in Toy Box does not actually have to contain the interior, because you walk through these doors and it kind of warps you to another area, so you can make the interior as big as you want. It doesn't have to match the actual building, and then you can kind of warp out of it, and you can connect toy boxes together, chain them, link them all together, so lots of practically an infinite amount of possibilities. That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun to build. Of course, there are non-Marvel elements announcements that are coming to Disney Infinity 2.0 as well. They weren't talking about too many of them at E3. They did show off the Maleficent and Merida figures that we already knew were coming out. They are not going to have their own play sets. They're just going to be toy box characters, but they will be playable with their own collectible figures. What they did reveal were some exciting new power discs that I am definitely going to have to get. There's going to be Darkwing Duck's motorcycle, the Rat Catcher, as well as Darkwing Duck's grappling gun. I wished it was a gas gun, gas evildoers and all of that, but instead it is a grappling gun, which is still fun. Jeremiah did ask several people if we could expect a Darkwing Duck figure to come out, or if we could expect any other Disney afternoon, and they basically said we have no comment, nothing to announce, etc. They didn't say no, but they didn't say yes, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what that means. If there's a Darkwing Duck toy box character, I will just be absolutely thrilled. I don't know. Doesn't seem likely, but you never know. We'll see. So that's sort of the update from E3 on Disney Infinity 2.0. As I said, you can see some video along with some interviews with some of the game's developers over on our website and on our YouTube channel. But as kind of a footnote here to Disney Infinity, apparently just a couple of days ago, Walmart accidentally leaked a whole lot more characters that are coming to Disney Infinity 2.0 on their website. It went up and then it came down, but of course somebody saw it and took screenshots and all of that. So it seems like Tinkerbell, Donald Duck, Stitch, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Hero and Baymax from Big Hero 6 are all going to be coming as figures to Disney Infinity. Now, these aren't confirmed by Disney Interactive. In fact, they probably want all of this to go away because they haven't announced it yet, but it seems highly, highly likely that those will be on the way for Disney Infinity as well. Thanks to Eric for pointing that out to me. Now, also at Infinity, or rather at E3, just opposite, and in fact right next to the Disney Interactive booth, was Activision's booth for Skylanders, which was a little bit awkward for those to be side by side because clearly Disney saw Skylanders and was like, yeah, we need to do that. So Jeremiah did talk with Activision about the future of Skylanders as well, keeping sort of this whole concept of bringing these toys to life in the video games, bringing that forward. The next Skylanders game is coming out in October, and that is called Skylanders Trap Team, and the addition, sort of the new feature in this game is going to be that you get to use these little traps, these of course physical items that you'll be able to purchase and put on the portal, and when you do that you can kind of imprison bad guys to use them later on in the game for your own advantage. Now what's fun about this is the new portal for Skylanders Trap Team actually has a speaker in it, so when you trap a bad guy and you put it you take your trap and you put it on the portal, you'll actually hear the bad guy kind of speaking out of that trap inside the portal, which is pretty cool. You can imagine if Disney Infinity did this and you had figures actually talking to you from the little portal, basically where the figure is. That would be really fun. So who knows, maybe Disney will be like, hey, Activision, what a great idea. Let's do that next time for Disney Infinity 3.0. We'll see. In addition to Skylanders, there's now a third big company entering into this Toys to Life mix, and it is none other than Nintendo. At E3, Nintendo announced Amiibo. That's A-M-I-I-B-O, all in lowercase letters, and that is Nintendo's line of figures that you'll be able to use with video games. The figures include Mario and Sky Fox and the Wii Fit Trainer and Samus and Link, and all the famous Nintendo characters are there. Donkey Kong, and they are same sort of figures as Skylanders and Infinity, little vinyl figures, pretty much the same look, same feel, same size. They'll be compatible with both the Wii U and the 3DS. Now here's where Nintendo is differentiating itself. It's not just using these figures in one particular game, but rather in a whole bunch of different games. You know how Nintendo likes to use Mario in a ton of different games. Well, you're going to be able to put these figures, sort of tap them up against your controller in order to have the character appear in Super Smash Bros. Or Mario Kart 8 or a number of other games in the future that they haven't announced yet. So really fun to watch how this industry is changing and building. It started with Skylanders, and then Disney Infinity came along, and now Nintendo's coming along, and who knows how many other video game companies will also jump in and have all these figures. Pretty soon the video game sections of stores are going to be physical little figurines and very few video games, which is going to be kind of odd. So you can see much, much more from all of that over in Jeremiah's article on our website. But that's not all that was exciting from E3 this year. There were a couple of other big announcements. One, Tim Schafer's LucasArts classic video game Grim Fandango returning, fully remastered from Disney Interactive and Double Fine Productions. They're bringing back Manny Calavera and the whole Undead gang for initially for PlayStation 4 and PS Vita. Other platforms will follow after that, but it's going to start out as an exclusive for those, which I am thrilled to hear because I loved those old LucasArts games. I was really sad when Disney decided to close up LucasArts, though I completely understand why. It wasn't exactly the LucasArts of old, but it's really nice to hear that they haven't totally abandoned those, that they are realizing the value in them, and that a remastered version, full HD, I'm sure they'll throw in all kinds of fun new twists in there, is going to be coming out. I'm really excited about that. You can watch a video of that announcement over on our website as well. Now, here's another really exciting bit. Last year at E3, we saw a teaser for Star Wars Battlefront, the new version of this game. I think it would be Battlefront 3, basically. And it was a very short teaser. We didn't really know anything. Now, this year, still not a lot, but EA, Electronic Arts, and DICE revealed a new teaser trailer. This one goes a little bit more in-depth. The game is due out in spring 2015, so I'm sure we'll see a lot more about it at E3 next year, but this video that they released follows the game developers as they walk through and examine things in the Lucasfilm archives, and also walk through actual filming locations used in the original trilogy for Star Wars, and then the screen kind of wipes across and shows real life, the Star Wars film, versus what it's going to look like in Star Wars Battlefront, and it looks phenomenal. I cannot wait to get a hold of this game either. Of course, this will be a next-gen console game as well. Xbox One, PS4, so that's next year. A lot to look forward to there as well. So that's kind of the E3 wrap-up from the world of Disney this year. I've got even more photos for non-Disney things as well from Jeremiah over on our website, so if you want more video game fun, head over there, check all that out. Now, at the top of the show, you heard the original voices for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, giving us a very special introduction for Inside the Magic. Now, that is because those voices appeared at Nick Hotel here in Orlando over the weekend as part of TMNT Retro Weekend, a very special event that I had a wonderful time at. It was kind of the kickoff of the Summer of Shell at Nick Hotel. Which I love how that rhymes. It's continuing through September 1st, so quite a while, in celebration of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at Nick Hotel. Now, over this special weekend, as I said, it was the original voice cast of the cartoon. That is voice actors Cam Clark, who played both Leonardo and Rocksteady, Townsend Coleman, who was Michelangelo, Barry Gordon, both Donatello and Bebop, as well as Rob Paulson, who was Raphael on the original cartoon back in the late 80s, early 90s, and also currently voices Donatello in the new incarnation of the show on Nickelodeon, which is wonderful. Rob Paulson has also done Disney voices like Don Carnage from Tailspin, and other. He was Pinky from Pinky and the Brain, and he was Arthur from The Tick, and in fact, one of the others, I think it was Townsend Coleman, was the Tick as well. Anyway, these guys are incredibly talented. The list goes on and on of the voices that they've done over the years, but this weekend was focused on the Ninja Turtles. The group, these four guys were taking pictures with the fans and signing autographs, and for me, as a huge Ninja Turtles fan, it was a wonderful, wonderful experience to be able to meet them and talk with them, which is what I want to share with you now. Some clips of, they had some Q&A sessions with fans, and it was wonderful to hear them do the Turtles' voices, naturally. So you heard just a little snippet of that at the beginning of the show, but I do want to play even more of that for you now, just because, well, everybody loves Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? So here they are.
You guys want to hear him do the voices? Is that what you want? Yeah! We haven't heard Rob or
Shredder, you tin-faced geek! Get back here and taste cold turtle steel!
A little out of breath.
Cold turtle steel. Say cowabunga. Cowabunga, dudes! Comes in handy getting a table at a restaurant.
Yeah, you've been listening to my voice already, so it's just this, higher, that's all it is. That's Donatello. Hey, the turtle man is busted again.
We gotta think of something fast!
I'm trying to.
There you go. Four wonderfully talented guys that just were a treat to hear, not only do the voices, as you just heard, but also talk about their experiences, sort of creating those voices and how they got hired and what it's been going on with them since they did the Turtles so many years ago. You can watch the entire Q&A. It's about, 25 minutes or so over on our YouTube channel. But following that, I had a chance to talk one-on-one with this wonderfully entertaining group, and it was a real treat for me because, as I've said several times now, I am a huge fan of the Ninja Turtles, and to have them here in Orlando at Nick Hotel was just a wonderful thing. And of course, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to try to hold back my fanboyness and have a real conversation with them as much as possible, though, to their credit, they noticed my Ninja Turtles shirt and decided to pull me into the conversation a little bit, so you'll hear how that went right now in my interview with the original voices of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Obviously, we're here for however many years later, a couple of decades later after the Turtles debuted.
70 years later.
I grew up with this show. It was part of my childhood, as it has been for many. Talking to you here is quite an honor. And I have to wonder, meeting fans like me over the years and now at Nick Hotel, what is that experience like for you?
Well, it's as you can imagine, it's overwhelming. I mean, we've talked about it before, but it never gets old. We do, but
Speak for yourself.
Well, older, excuse me. But,
Dorian Gray.
Yeah, I know. I got a picture in the attic. But the fact is that we hear people like you say those kind words that you've just said to us. The fact that you grew up watching, and that people will say to us over and over again, "Oh my God, you're my childhood." That's a really profound compliment, you know. And even if people have a difficult childhood, often one of the happiest memories is Ninja Turtles. You cannot put a price tag on that. It's pretty cool.
What's really interesting about it being this many years later, there were times we met you guys when you were children.
Yeah.
So you were children. And now we get to meet you as adults when you can articulate what that meant to you then. So it's a wild experience to hear you recount your childhood as an adult. And it is so humbling,
isn't it?
For us to, because you just never think that, well, for me, that a cartoon could play such an intimate part in people's life. Things like, my childhood is now complete, that I've met you, and you were my best friend, and
sure, you taught me how to deal with bullies.
Right, but I have a confession to make. Of all of the fans that I've met, I don't think there has been one until now that has actually had the guts to wear a Bebop and Rocksteady
How about that?
T-shirt.
Stand in front of the camera.
There in the picture.
Here we go.
All right. See, that's me. That's me.
And the other one is me.
Well, that was gonna be my next question, is because the Turtles have obviously been the star of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but the villains are a huge part of it as well. I always loved Bebop and Rocksteady, and of course Shredder and Krang and everything. Over the years, do you feel like people have really attached to one character? Like, do they come up to one of you and
tell us? They will say, Leonardo was my favorite. Or. They'll come up to me and they say, Michelangelo's my favorite. Well, I'm not Michelangelo, but I'll pass it along.
Usually they say Donatello is their favorite.
I think they do.
Yeah,
I'm
you
very
like to think
confused.
And interestingly, we're all now entering our second childhood, so it's perfect.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Sure. Well, one more question. When the show was becoming popular, I'm sure you had no idea it was going to explode as much as it did. But while it did, what was that feeling like, working together and knowing you were a part of something huge?
It
was a little mind-bending.
You know what?
last
It's
year,
probably
really was.
exactly as cool as you can imagine. I mean, it really is. It's kind of indescribable, because we were cognizant at the time when it really took off of how big it was getting. And we started at the very beginning, clean sheet of paper, and everything that has spun off was as a result of the first Ninja Turtles cartoon. So that's pretty crazy. It's very
I would
cool.
say for me, because we were behind the mics and never met anybody, I would say it is now.
Yeah, it's
since
cooler
we
now.
started doing this stuff
true,
that I
yeah.
realized, I went, because we never met anybody then,
Right.
So I'm going, now it's 25 years later, and it's only now that I'm realizing the impact which is awesome to have that going on that many years
well,
later.
not only that, but the generational thing too. Now, we've got you guys who were fans of us back then, turning all your kids on to the new show, on Nick, and even episodes of our original show. So it's pretty fascinating.
I mean, I think we knew it was successful. It was such an interesting kind of slow build for us because we started just doing 5 shows.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of thought, oh, this is going to be 5 shows and this is over. And then, no, it was picked up for more shows. And then all of a sudden CBS grabs it. And all of a sudden you start to realize that there's this kind of snowball effect that's happening.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think we were aware that we were part of something interesting and big.
And we could cut into lines at fancy restaurants.
I don't think we knew that this was going to be iconic, though. Right. I don't think that happened until now, when we realized the longevity of it is just unbelievable.
Well, here we are at Nick Hotel, exciting all summer long. People come meet the turtles, and it's great to see you this weekend. So thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, Rick.
Are you kidding me? Where?
Flo and Eddie.
Where are they?
Yeah, thank you, Rick.
Just an absolute treat to be able to talk to them. They are a funny group. Now, in addition to those guys being there was other entertainment throughout TMNT Retro Weekend, including some screenings of some old episodes, trivia, and scavenger hunts. But even beyond this weekend, the Summer of Shell at Nick Hotel is continuing through September 1st. On select days, there's an opportunity not only to meet the Ninja Turtles, but also adding to the group now, April O'Neil is there as well, which is pretty fun, in addition to some foot soldiers roaming around Nick Hotel. And I did indeed have a chance to once again meet the Turtles, which I had done. They've been at Nick Hotel for a couple of years now. But April is a newcomer to the hotel, and I had a chance to meet her and talk to her a little bit. So here's a brief chat with Miss April O'Neil.
Hi, guys. How are you doing? Absolutely. Well, I've met the Turtles before here at Nick Hotel, but April, you're a newcomer here.
Here I am. Hanging out with my best friend.
What do you think of hanging with these Turtles every day at Nick Hotel?
They're awesome, right? Yeah, they're the best. Plus, we get to eat a lot of pizza, so I don't mind at all.
It doesn't surprise me that Donnie here is next to you. I know you've got
He's always
a bond.
right by me. Yeah, he's got my back. He's a good friend, definitely.
Now, April, I understand you've been training with Splinter a little bit.
Yeah, we've been working with Master Splinter. I'm becoming a pretty good Kunoichi. I have to say, I've got some skills. Don't you think, Raph? Yeah, you've been fighting me a little bit too. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready. In fact, I heard the Foot Clan's hanging out around the hotel.
I just saw them outside.
We might have to take care of business later. What do you think? Yeah, definitely.
So there we go, a little chat with April O'Neil. As far as character greetings go, she was spot on. She did a great job, obviously, being able to answer my questions thoroughly, as geeky and specific as they could be about the new Nickelodeon Turtles show. It's a really, really wonderful experience there. So Nick Hotel is doing a great job with that. Now, the Turtles and April and the Foot Soldiers can also be seen in a new poolside show at Nick Hotel called Turtle Power, of course, and in which April and the Turtles fend off the Foot Clan, also host a dance party. Now, unfortunately, it rains a lot here over the summer in Florida, like every day, and being a poolside show with dancing and martial arts and whatnot, rain is not good for an outdoor show, so it's canceled. It was canceled when I was there, and then I went back, and then it was canceled again. They did do a sort of abridged version indoors that I got to see, which wasn't so much the martial arts part as just the dance party part. You can see a video of that over on our YouTube channel, but I really want to get back to see the whole thing. It's certainly one of those things that you have to keep in mind when going to Nick Hotel, is that entertainment only happens on select days. It's not every single day, and even on those days, it doesn't happen often, maybe just once a day, and the rain can swoop in and ruin your plans. So if you're a big Turtles fan like I am, don't get your hopes up too high, because it is a strong possibility that something like this could not work out for you while you are there, which is a little unfortunate. In addition, Nick Hotel has also unveiled some new Ninja Turtles themed family suites, and I use the word themed very loosely. These 10 rooms basically have one wall that has this big great Turtles mural on it, but that's it. There's no other theming in the room that's anything Turtles at all. So that room is, of course, the kids' room. It is a family suite, and there's bunk beds in there, and it's a great mural. I would love to have that in my house, but that's it. So don't expect a whole Turtle suite when it's just really just that one part of the suite. So in addition, late July, Nick Hotel is going to be adding a Ninja Turtles themed laser maze, and then on August 9th, they're going to host a record-breaking attempt to have the most people ever in one location dressed as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I'm so mad because I'm going to be out at the Scare LA convention in California on that day, so I'm going to miss that, which is terrible news, but so it goes. But anyway, I had a great time, obviously, talking with the Turtles and everything at Nick Hotel. Definitely head over to the website and our YouTube channel to see and to see more and read all about the new offerings at Nick Hotel for all you Turtles fans out there. Earlier, I promised to share a little bit more from Knott's Berry Farm, and I'm going to do just that right now. As I said earlier, the Calico Mine Train has reopened in a newly enhanced and updated fashion, and I sent our reporter, Mark Eads, out there to cover the reopening, and so I want to share a bit of a ride-through on this updated attraction for you now. Now, there's a lot of sort of dead areas of the Mine Train, even after the refurbishment. It's a long experience in length, in track length, and you know, you go through a lot of areas where you're just like, oh, there's rock and there's more rock and all of that. So this sort of version of the recording edits a lot of that sort of dead space out and just focuses on the best parts, the new audio animatronics that are talking to you, the updated music, etc. So you can hear all of that and really get a sense of what all of it is like. And then you can, of course, head out there for yourself, which I definitely plan on doing, to see it and all of its glory. So here we go. Let's head over to Knott's Berry Farm for a ride through of the newly updated Calico Mine Train.
All aboard!
They said it 2 years ago.
Howdy, folks. This here is old Polecat Mahoney, and I am delighted to take you into the famous Calico Mine, the richest gold strike this side of the Mississippi.
Keep a lookout for low-hanging outcroppings and sagging timber.
Well, look at this, folks. These bubbling, boiling pots sure may look pretty, but many a poor miner's gone and dug his pick right down into old Mother Earth, only to have a blast of steaming hot mud erupt in his face. It ain't exactly the kind of warm welcome you want. Take a look to the right up over here. Yes, sir, folks. That's the world-famous Calico Mine Glory Hole, the site of one of the richest gold strikes in all of recorded history. Now we're heading over an underground lake at the mouth of this here river. When we're not paying for gold flakes here in the water, we're fishing for those little blind fish you see down there. They ain't never seen the light of day. Up ahead, we're doing a bit of hydraulic mining. Look out for that stream of water. It'll lead right through solid rock. Now we're getting to the 3,000-foot level in our square set timber workshop. This type of modern technology makes all of this deep earth mining possible. Sure is dark up here. Say, driver, how about a little bit more light? Look at that. You know, all it takes is one tiny drop of water and about 1,000,000 years to make all these stalagmites on the floor and stalactites on the ceiling. Well, look at that. Old seldom seen Slim's done struck him some gold. We're approaching the upper levels of the glory hole. From up here you get a view of all the different kinds of mining operations we have going on. It's a lot of back-breaking work digging up all that gold ore with a few measly old picks and shovels and rock hammers.
And here we are at the end of show 480. Quite the assortment of entertainment this week, from a little bit more from Star Wars Weekends to E3 to Knott's Berry Farm to Nick Hotel with the Ninja Turtles and plenty more. So hopefully you enjoyed sort of a trip all over the place. On the near horizon, of course, is absolute Potter mania. Cannot wait to step behind that big London facade and into Diagon Alley and experience Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts and all of the stores and all of the interactivity and Nocturne Alley and the restaurants and the live entertainment. There's just so much. So you can definitely count on a pretty big podcast next week after I've had a chance to see all of that this week and hopefully be able to announce an opening date for it all. They're billing the press event as a preview, so I would imagine at some point during all of that we'll have a chance to find out when it is officially opening to everybody else. And there's going to be a lot of celebrities on hand, a big red carpet event, and who knows what kind of major festivities going on to mark the occasion. So lots of excitement on the way for that. So stay tuned. So, also, I, of course, want to thank Magical Travel for sponsoring this week's episode of Inside the Magic. You can find out more about their services by visiting magicaltravel.com. And certainly throughout this week especially, please follow us on social media. That's Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. Just add /Inside the Magic to any of those services, and you'll find the best way to stay up to date sort of as I'm in the parks, specifically in Universal for this week, and sending out all those live updates. And then at the end of each day, or whenever I get a chance during the day, I'll be posting things over on InsideTheMagic.net as well, or .com. I have that now. But .net, because that'll be sort of the summary of everything that is going on. And in addition to Potter, there are some other exciting things going on at Universal as well, some new restaurants, and who knows what else they might announce during their special presentation. So lots to look forward to this week. So stay tuned for all of that, and I do thank you for listening each and every week. Have a magical week. Goodbye.
There's a great big beautiful tomorrow, just a dream away.